Welcome, Ramley. We did it. We actually did it. A part of me still believes it's all a dream, but I pinched myself and I didn't wake up. The 2021 Los Angeles Rams are Super Bowl champions, the best team in the world. Let's talk about it. Sorry if my voice seems a little off. I did a lot of screaming, and believe it or not, my voice sounds a lot better than it did earlier today. I'm not really here to critique the game. There'll be plenty of time in the offseason for that. Plus, who wants to hear that now? The game wasn't perfect, but we won, so who cares? We are Super Bowl champions. That still sounds crazy to me. We are Super Bowl champions. I waited my whole life for this moment. Easily the fourth best day of my life, right behind my two kids being born and marrying my wife. Von Miller called it football heaven because I don't think anything in sports is harder than obtaining a Lombardi trophy. I screamed, I cheered, I sat in silence. I even cried. Sunday was a day I'll remember for the rest of my life. Let's talk about it a little bit. Now you guys know where I'm starting out at. Gotta start by giving my man Matthew Stafford his flowers. Before he got here, people critiqued him. They said he's never won a big game. He's 0-3 in the playoffs. Why would the Rams trade all of those assets for him? Well, guess what? He might not have won a playoff game in Detroit, but since he's come to LA, he hasn't lost one. You could call Matthew Stafford whatever you want, but when you're done, make sure you end it by saying Super Bowl champion. Gotta talk about Cooper Kupp. We used to say arguably the greatest season ever for a wide receiver. You could throw that word arguably out the window. This is easily the greatest wide receiver season in NFL history. You had players like Jerry Rice win the Triple Crown before, also win Super Bowl MVP. Nobody's done it in the same season while also going over 2,000 yards receiving. This season is not only the greatest season for a wide receiver in NFL history, this might be the best season for any football player in NFL history. I will go that far. And to top it off, the way he did in that final drive for us, it just couldn't have been a better way to end this year. I love you, Cooper Kupp. We couldn't have done it without you. And we also have Odell Beckham Jr. We couldn't have won without him either. It took him a while to get going. He had the biggest game in his career in the NFC Championship game, and then he started off in the Super Bowl right where he left off at. In that first half, he had over 50 yards and a touchdown. And I'm pretty sure the way that first half was going, it would have been an even bigger second half. It was very heartbreaking to see him go down to that knee injury. It's also heartbreaking to think that he is a free agent and his future is kind of up in the air. Hopefully from a humanity standpoint, you want to see him get that good contract anyways. Either way, we couldn't have done it without him. And you've seen it. Our offense was running on all cylinders in that first half. And as soon as he went out, we didn't know what to do. Our offense was deer in headlights, not having any options to throw the ball to. It wasn't until that last drive in the game where finally Sean McVay said, I'm going to stop running into a brick wall and I'm just going to let Matthew Stafford open the ball up. And Matthew Stafford is just going to continue to feed Cooper Kupp the ball over and over again because he was our only option once Odell went out. And also we got to speak about Van Jefferson. His performance this game was, pretty lackluster, but when you could win a Super Bowl, leave the Super Bowl game, run to the hospital to witness the birth of your child. As a father, I can't imagine the type of joy he experienced. This has to be the greatest day of his life too. I don't think anything could top that. That was such a feel-good story. Also, Cam Akers. We got to talk about Cam Akers. Cam Akers did not have a good postseason at all, and he didn't do good in the Super Bowl either. But I think that is kind of getting lost in the real story here. The real story is Cam Akers just tore his Achilles tendon 6 months ago. 6 months ago, and now he's playing in a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl. Forget his performance. The fact that he's here is the real story. Hats off to Cam Akers. And also the GOAT, Aaron Donald. It came out right before the game that Aaron Donald might contemplate retirement if the Rams win a Super Bowl. Of course, at that time, that's pretty heartbreaking. After the game, it's still pretty sad. But if Aaron Donald did retire, as a fan, what more could you ask for? He dedicated his entire career to the Los Angeles Rams, putting nothing but 110% effort and would not leave us until he delivered a championship to us. And not only did he deliver a championship to us, he single-handedly gave us the game-winning play in the NFC Championship game, turned around and did the same exact thing in the Super Bowl. This is what documentaries are made of. I couldn't write a better script. This sounds like a non-fiction movie, but it's not. This is real life. Aaron Donald is the best football player I ever seen play football, man. And if he calls it a career, hey, man, what a hell of a ride. Then you got Von Miller. Von Miller just making play after play after play all throughout the playoffs, but especially in the Super Bowl. Von Miller looked like the same Von Miller that was Super Bowl MVP a couple years ago. This man hasn't really lost a step, and there's no way we win this Super Bowl without Von Miller here. Gotta talk about Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey played great all year long, and yeah, he didn't do great in this Super Bowl. Of course, you had the one play where it was a clear and obvious face mask that really turned the whole trajectory of this game around. But he also had about 2 or 3 other plays where he just got lost in the sauce there, it seemed like, where he made a few bad reads here and there. But who cares? He's still the best cornerback in the league, and he's a Super Bowl champion. We wouldn't be here without him. Gotta talk Sean McVay. When the Rams first hired Sean McVay, they said he's only 30 years old. Now it seems like all the new head coaches in this league is in their 30s. Everybody's following suit. I don't think Sean McVay coached the best in the Super Bowl, but he did enough in this Super Bowl to win a championship, and that's what matters. On that 4th and 1 on your own 30, you call an end around to Cooper Kupp? Now on paper, that sounds like a horrible call, but when you think about Cam Akers just running into the line of scrimmage time and time and time again, if you give that ball to Cam Akers or Darrell Henderson, it's probably the Bengals' ball, but instead you do an end around to Cooper Kupp. Nobody's seen that coming. And Cooper Kupp does what Cooper Kupp does. And he doesn't get you 1 yard, he gets you 5 or 6. That was a hell of a call. It took some really big ones to call that call. And then you march all the way down the field. You finally throw your game plan out and say, here, Matthew Stafford, I'm giving you the ball. This is your 4th quarter comeback. Go win it for us. And you do it, and he does it. And then you get the ball on the 1 yard line, and you throw a fade route to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has not gotten one fade in the end zone this entire year. And you do it with all the marbles on the line. Now, of course, I think if Odell Beckham is in the game, Odell gets that ball there. But he's not there, so you give it to Cooper Kupp. What an amazing play call to say I'm going to give it to my star quarterback, and he's going to give it to our star receiver, and whatever happens, happens. And of course, the better player makes the best play on the ball, and that was Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford put it on him perfect. What an amazing play call by Sean McVay. And I think lost in all of this was our general manager, Les Snead. Les Snead, he heard it all. He heard it all. We all did. Why are they giving up all these first-round draft picks? You can't build a roster like this, not for the long term. Who cares about the long term when you're Super Bowl champions now? In a few years, they'll have no young talent to pull from. Well, who cares? We won a Super Bowl championship. All you guys with your first-round picks can continue to take your first-round picks and, do so without a Super Bowl championship. We've seen it even here at the trade deadline when the Rams traded Von Miller. They said, damn, the Rams are still doing it. They're assembling a dream team, and super teams in the NFL never work. Well, guess what? That super team, that dream team, is now Super Bowl champions. That's still crazy to hear come out of my mouth, man. Super Bowl champions. We really did it. It's just... It's just things that you dream about. Hats off to Les Snead for never being satisfied, always trying to make this team better and better and better. When Odell became a free agent, I was the one that said, we don't need Odell. We got Robert Woods, we got Cooper Kupp, we got Van Jefferson. I don't see where Odell fits. Well, guess what? Les Snead said, F that, we're gonna get better. I don't think he knew where Odell fit at the moment. All he knew at that moment was Odell was gonna make us better. And that's what mattered. And it all worked out. Somebody give Les Snead a raise, please. Speaking of giving Les Snead a raise, I never want to hear Stan Kroenke ever again in my life say, whose house? Rams house. That sounded horrible. That was the worst whose house chant I ever heard in my life. Oh my gosh, this was just an amazing experience. I'm so happy I could get a chance to share it with all you guys who watch these videos. This has been an amazing journey. I'm gonna take some time off. When I say some time, just a week or two, just to reflect and take a break. But man, I love this team. I still am in disbelief that we actually ended this with a Super Bowl championship. Easily the fourth best day of my life, man. This is what dreams are made of. It's crazy how you can be so attached to a football team. I don't understand it. I know it's dumb, but it is what it is, and I love everything about this team. Thank you guys all for watching these videos all year long. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in more Rams content, click right here. Super Bowl champions, baby. 2021, you can't take that from us. We are forever immortalized.